What's up, Rufflings? First time this year, and I got a big old box from Infinite Discs for a bunch of reviews that I have coming up, and maybe like 1 or 2 things from my bag. But I'm really excited to get into this because we got all these bad boys. I have a little bit of a live audience today with my beautiful baby Bogey sitting over there. First thing that I have are just kind of restocks for me because I basically ran out of Sphinxes. So I got 5 more Sphinxes just for myself in my bag. I felt these last night right after they had just been sitting in a cold truck and then on my porch in 20-degree weather, and they were just stone cold. But now they look absolutely incredible. You can see the Christmas, look at the Christmas tree still up. I should probably take that down today. Oh, these are all from Run 2, I believe. Really nice, a little stiffer, a little more overstable feeling, but they're just absolute bombers. These purple ones, they're so cool. I'm so glad I was able to get some of these on these 5, pretty much just for my bag, and then I like give away a lot of Sphinxes, I guess, for like people who like win stuff on my channel or like who help me out with whatever. So I don't have any left, basically. So I need some of these for my bag because I want to hold on to some of these because these are my first Tour Series disc, which is pretty sweet. Now we're getting into stuff that's basically all for reviews, and then maybe one thing that's for my bag, but everything else is pretty much just to review it. So first, we have this disc from Infinite called the Kontiki. It's pretty unique. It's a very thin 4-speed. It's a mid-range, actually. I know Juliana Korver had it as a Tour Series, iBlend one, and then this is a Metal Flake one. They are very thin feeling. I actually had one originally when I got on the team, but I threw it one time and then forgot to pick it up. So I'm glad to have these because I'm going to be reviewing every single disc in Infinite's lineup, but more than likely just in like a putters, mids, fairways, and drivers video for Infinite's channel, and maybe doing some like reels for each of them. I haven't even given each of them enough time by myself. So a lot of what is going to be coming up here is just a bunch of Infinite discs that I haven't really fully tried yet. The second is a disc that I have tried, but I gave both of them away. It's the Glyph from Infinite Discs. This is pretty much just a birdie from Innova. This is in the R blend plastic, kind of similar to R, a little flippier. And then this one was pretty stable, kind of Berg-esque, but a little further flying. Also, shout out college football playoffs. My grandma got this from my baby. My parents actually met at an Ohio State football game, so of course I'm an OSU fan. My sister went there. I didn't. I'm black sheep of the family. Next is the Slab from Infinite, which I believe is similar, if not the same, to a Max that was an Innova Run disc. And it's out of production now, but this is, I think, the Halo S-Blend Slab. Pretty overstable. I had a Color Glow one, which was not very overstable, but this feels like almost a 12-speed. I think some places say it's an 11-speed, some places say it's a 12-speed. So I thought maybe it'd be similar to the Thrill, and it might actually be the most similar, but I didn't have one when I shot that video. This Halo S-Blend plastic, this one actually feels really good. So I'm excited to kind of rip this around and see how it flies, because I actually have an overstable slab instead of the one that I had before. Oh, I also have an iBlend slab. Oh no, this is an S-Blend slab. Look at that beautiful swirling. This feels so good. I wonder if this is like an overstable forehand disc for me. That's what it would end up being. I would imagine it's gonna fly similarly far to my 9-speeds, and my 9-speeds are easier to get up to speed with my little puny forehand right now, so maybe that's what I'll end up throwing, 9-speeds over these, but stoked to have the slabs. Pretty built just to be a beefcake. Fun disc though. Next, the Exodus. I only have a Halo Exodus. I've only ever thrown a Halo Exodus. It's the Eagle L mold, which the Eagle is a really popular disc from Innova. And this Exodus, I have a Metal Flake here, and I also have an iBlend, which I really like the new iBlend stamp. 7.5 is negative 0.52. It's kind of funny they call it a control driver. I would definitely call it a fairway driver. To me, controls like 9 to 10 speed. Also, really exciting, they've started embossing the runs on the bottom here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that very well, but it says iBlend Exodus, and then it says the run 14 right there. So that's super cool. A bomber ring and just a stock iBlend stamped Exodus so that I can throw these against the Halo one that I have and kind of see how they fly. It is a little bigger in my hand than probably what I would want to throw for a 7-speed. If Birdie could bring back the Strike, man, that'd be electric. But maybe Athena, maybe, I don't really know what I'm going to be throwing in that slot this year, 7 or 8 speed. I didn't throw anything in it last year, but I think that was a mistake. I think I should definitely have something in it, probably just for my backhand, but Exodus, definitely going to be one of those options. But also got that so that I could review them. None of these really are, except for the Sphinx is kind of for like my personal allotment. And the last Infinite disc is this just stock S-Blend Emperor, which really clean stock stamps again. I really like this. The run, is this one embossed on the back too? It says run 27 on it. It's not embossed on the bottom here, but I picked this up because I was looking at the S-Blend Emperors, and look at how nice and domey looking this bad boy is, if I can get it to focus. It just looks like it's going to be a bomber and not beat it as fast as my iBlends, but probably be a little more overstable out of the box. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of how this flies in the bag, and I also don't really have any good stock S-Blend Emperors. I had the swirlies, which were all a little flatter, so they were better for forehands. This definitely is a little domey for my forehands. S-Blend Emperor, money disc. Okay, now we're getting into the goodies. A lot of discs that I just ordered because I think that they're either underrated and wanted to review them, or were potentially popular and wanted to review them, or were just coming out. First is going to be a disc that Eagle absolutely loves. You might have seen it on his Instagram. He said it's like one of the most underrated putters out there. It's the MVP Spin. Super flippy looking putter, 2.5 for -2.0. And I watched him throw it, and it's just kind of like a whoosh as a putter. So pretty pumped about this. Very, very low parting line. And this is definitely going to make a video. And it's very round on the underside. So I'll probably go to Johnny Roberts or something and play around, and just most underrated MVP putter, at least for the fun factor. Next, this I was told by Caleb, another guy that I film with, that is the most potentially underrated disc out there, but more likely the most underrated MVP driver. Most likely the most underrated MVP driver, and that is the Zenith, James Conrad's 11-speed. This is in just their Neutron plastic. I really like this green, and it actually feels much better than I expected. It is a little bigger in the hand. It might be similar to like the Wraith and Grace style discs. I might have to throw this in a Wraith and Grace review, but I think I'm gonna put the Photon in there, those three. I noticed when I was actually taking a look at my most popular videos that I've posted, especially the ones that I posted a long time ago that are still getting views, a lot of them are like 3-disc reviews, like Pathfinder versus Buzz versus Hex. And so I'm probably gonna be doing 1 or 2 plus of those a month, just trying to find fun comparisons to bring out, so that if you're looking at specifically comparing discs, I'll do that. So I don't know if this or the Photon is gonna go in my first 11-speed one that'll probably be coming out later this month, once it warms up from this snowy madness in a few days. Plasma Zenith, I threw this with Caleb, really, really kind of impressed me. It was a little more understable than I expected, and it actually is a pretty comfortable feeling disc. It's not domey, but it's also not dead flat. Also, if you hear screeches, Bogey's just learned pterodactyl noises and really enjoys it. So she's having fun, don't worry. But she does need to go to bed in 30 minutes, so we gotta wrap this up. Unfortunately, we got a lot to go through. Next, I wanted to kind of review a whole James Conrad line, probably. So I got the Zenith, and then I also picked up a Terra, which has this really cool Infinite Disc Mutant spider stamp on it. I'll have these stamps linked because it's pretty freaking sweet. They're on a lot of MVP discs, and this is just a 174 Terra, which is his overstable 8-speed. And this also feels better than I remember. I don't know, maybe I just am growing in my affinity to MVP, because the stuff that I've been picking up from them, I've been liking how it feels more than I did a while ago. That being said, this next disc actually surprised me in how much I liked it a little less. Not too much less, but this I think could be a really good 11-speed. Maybe I'll probably do that 11-speed comparison, and then I'll probably do Zenith versus this disc versus the Photon, because this is the Defy, the Fission Defy specifically, which is an 11-speed, which it's supposed to be a pretty bombery one. Oh, this is also a 167 in the Fission. So the rim's a little sharp, which I don't know if that's on purpose, but it doesn't feel like fully flashing, but it also is just a little sharp. So the Fission Defy, though, I think is gonna be absolute bomber. I'll probably do, I have to write this down actually, Defy versus Zenith versus Photon video. Maybe Wave as well. I don't really give the Wave a whole lot of love, but I know a lot of people really like it. So maybe we throw it in there, but this is more like the straight to stable 11 speeds from MVP, which I know the Wave is for some people. So maybe we throw that in there and do another one of those just multiple disc reviews. So those are the main, if not all, the MVP discs. Next are a couple discs from Discmania. One, we gotta take a look at the Eternal Void, Kyle Klein's Horizon MD4. I have not heard anybody talking about this disc. I don't know honestly if anybody cares about this disc, but I thought it was really cool when it came out, and it looks pretty sweet. I think it's gonna be a nice flexor, a little more overstable than just the stock MD4 that I have already. So I'll probably do that versus the stock MD4 and kind of see how it flies. I haven't heard a lot about Kyle Klein maybe re-upping. Maybe he's not coming back to Discmania. Maybe this is his last disc with them. I have literally no idea, but there's not been a lot of hype around this disc, which is a little surprising for a late in the year Tour Series release. But I wanted to give it a review, so that'll be coming up here relatively soon as well. Just got a couple more P2Xs. I'll probably do a Johnny Putter reviews with the P2Xs. I wanted to get some stock. Super stoked on these. I really am still enjoying putting with them. I don't know if it's what I'll be putting with long term. I actually am probably going to be comparing these to the PA3s a little more in depth. And maybe judges or trying to find what is another close comparison. In general, how they feel and fly out of my hand, I actually really like this plastic. It's very tacky. But the PA3s are a little smaller and that may be a little more comfortable. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. And then it's a couple of releases from some ladies on ThoughtSpace who are also on Infinite. It is the Mantra from Ali Smith. And this Mantra actually feels pretty overstable. It's a really cool stamp. And overstable for a Mantra speaking. It's supposed to be a pretty understable 9-speed. It's the same numbers as the Sphinx. So like 9.5, 9.6, -3, 1. But these feel a little more bladed and a little stiffer in this glow plastic. Similar to like my Halo Sphinxes, if not even a touch more overstable because they are pretty stiff compared to those. I also have the Erica Stinchcomb Praxis. These are such a cool stamp. I really, really like them. Just the bear with the antlers coming off of it. I don't know, something about it is sweet. But these actually feel bigger than any Praxis that I've ever felt. My guess is it's just the plastic that makes it feel a little bit bigger. But this is, I think, Nebula Aura, I believe, which is kind of like a cosmic neutron, which typically makes things more overstable. So this might be like a little like touch of flex out of the hand Praxis, but Praxis is so straight that I imagine it might just be not a Hydra Flip Praxis, but just a dead straight one. So we'll see. I'm really excited. I'll probably put these reviews together because they're super fun. They both look so cool. ThoughtSpace does some really cool stuff with their stamps. Next are some discs that some people have been asking me to review for a while. It's the first 3 discs in the Scott Stokely disc lineup. This is the Wren, his putter. Honestly, he went from Marvels to putting with this, and this seems to be very similar to a Marvel. The shoulder seems to be a little higher. The plastic actually feels really good. I don't know who's manufacturing them. It's the Strato plastic, and it's pretty grippy. Feels similar to a Marvel with maybe a little shallower and a higher shoulder, maybe a little deeper. I can't really fully tell right now, but it feels fine. Just like a solid putter, very typical putter. And then this is the Cardinal in the thermoplastic. First run, this is supposedly an overstable mid-range, like a 5403. It feels pretty wide, honestly. It doesn't feel bad at all. I mean, it feels pretty nice. And it is a little concave on the bottom. I don't really know what it's gonna fly like, so I'm excited to review all 3 of these. I think this is gonna probably be pretty true to 5403, similar to that MD4 that's down there, but maybe a touch straighter if I had to guess. And last is the Owl, which this actually surprised me because this is his overstable approach disc, kind of like a Zone. I like the stamp, it's pretty sick. But it's pretty domey for like an approach disc. I was pretty surprised about that. Not like pop toppy, but it's just a little bit gummier in the flight plate and it's like higher up. Sometimes in approach disc I like everything to be a little stiffer, whereas the flight plate seems to have a little less plastic than the rim, which is how most discs are, but typically from fairways and up, I would say, to try to give them a little extra glide. This is a 174, so the mezzoplastic is this kind of see-through one, and it does feel all right, but I'm just kind of surprised that I mean, for someone who's thrown the Berg for a while and then seemingly I would guess throws flatter discs because he's such a forehand guy. This coming out with a little bit of dome just kind of surprised me. Doesn't feel bad in the backhand or the forehand, but just kind of not what I expected and probably not what I would throw for an overstable approach disc, but we'll see if the flight kind of changes my mind on that. So I'm pumped to be reviewing the Scott Stokely discs. And then I have these 2 discs that I've also, I think, gone pretty under the radar, but they are maybe the weirdest pair of 1-speeds on the market. And I use the term 1-speeds a little generously because obviously flight numbers are made up, but this is the EV7 Yin and Yang. They call this 1401, but to be honest with you, it just kind of looks like a straight 2-speed, like 2301. It's got the same like kind of rounded underside as the MVP Spin, kind of surprisingly. That surprised me. Flat on the top, but doesn't really seem to be a 1-speed. It just doesn't have that same lid characteristic that the other 1-speeds that I've ever thrown have. But this is where things get weird. This is the Yang. They call this 1202, so similar numbers to the Berg, but it also kind of looks like a 2-speed to me. So I'll probably use my calipers on these guys when I end up reviewing them. You'll probably see a video called like the weirdest 1-speed combination. But look at the side profile of this guy. That is kind of crazy. That's a little gnarly looking. And so definitely yin and yang. The underside feels the same, so I bet they have the same top. Just the opposite bottoms, which is what would make 100% sense. So yeah, I think the top is the same on these 2, but on the bottoms, what they did is they basically made this one convex, so like a typical rounded putter, and this one completely concave the other direction. Maybe the same angle, but these are gonna be interesting. The plastic feels really good, actually. OG medium plastic. I almost couldn't read that because of the cursive on there. It was just like a little weird, but I mean, clean stamping as well. just interesting, a little under the radar. So I'm so pumped to have a lot more reviews coming in. As more stuff comes out, like I'm gonna be so on top of it. I love reviewing discs. And it's so sad that it's so snowy out because it makes it so much harder. But that being said, another disc that I have never thrown before, but I think is maybe a little bit under the radar for me, is the Star It. I actually thought this was an 8-speed, and maybe it used to be, but they're now calling it 7.6 -2 1. So I have a Star It. I don't know why they just call it an It. I have a Champ It, and I have a G-Star It. It is a very round bottom feeling disc. It feels almost like if you shrink down a Roadrunner and put the bottom on it and then give it a really domey top, that's what you get. So it feels pretty bulbous in your hand, but very comfortable. I imagine this is such a good beginner disc and disc that can grow with you as you start to throw farther, especially like in this Champ plastic. It actually feels surprisingly good. Like I could practice forehanding and get a better forehand with throwing understable stuff like this. So that's exciting. And now kind of the last bad boys are just more weird Innova stuff that I was going through and seeing, hey, what do I need to review or revisit? And I think one disc I need to revisit, unfortunately maybe, is the Innova Alien. This guy, such a crazy profile. It's got these fastback ridges right here, and just, I did not enjoy it when I first threw it. It had a lot of like lift or something weird, and so now I have it in the Star, which is what I first reviewed, and the DX, which I might force myself to putt with in that video. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to review these bad boys again and just see how they fly and see if I have any different opinions on them. If there's any other discs that you want me to revisit, let me know. Definitely would enjoy that. And then lastly is another just crazy one, the Skeeter. I feel like I had to get this just to see how it flies because it is a wacko looking disc. Very like understable, faster dart, I guess. And it's just, I mean, it's a Mosquito. Luckily they're not out right now because it's winter time. And I'm not even out because it's winter time, but those are gonna be some reviews that are coming up. If there's any more you wanna see, feel free to let me know. Time to put Bogey to bed, and I'll see you guys probably later today on the main channel. Hey, baby.